Shonen, are you really going to make a video on this guy? Are you seriously going to make us sit through this? Are you that desperate for content? Well, yes and no. Yes, I am going to make a video on this guy. No, I am not desperate because this is serious. We need to be educated on Groribas, and you're laughing at him, and it's just no laughing matter. This guy is a beast, and I'm going to give him the credit he deserves. So our time with Groribas was very short because we only see him for like a brief moment after Saitama enters Boros' ship. And I'm talking about episode 10 in chapter 32. So after he runs into Groribas, he gets a brief dialogue, then Saitama knocks his head off, and that's it. And while that was a straight up comedic gold moment, it just left me wondering, like, how strong is this guy? Or how strong was he? So in this video, I'm gonna try to figure it out. And we have somewhat of an answer to that, but you know, we're just gonna be guessing most of it, honestly. So let's just establish this right away. Groribas is stated to be a dragon in the databook. That's right, this guy was disaster level dragon, so he is skipping over all of the demons that we have seen so far, meaning that he would totally defeat Deep Sea King if they were to fight, because this is also a question that I see a lot. It's usually just whoever versus Deep Sea King, but for some reason a lot of people say, like, what would happen if Groribas fought Deep Sea King? Well, based off of him being a dragon, he would probably destroy him. But I also want to keep Deep Sea King fresh in your mind because I'm going to be using him as a comparison later on for some stuff that Groribas is capable of. But aside from him just being a dragon, we also have to remember that he is one of Boros' generals. So that right there is showing that he is extremely powerful. Regardless of what his disaster level is, Boros only picks super powerful dudes to be one of his 3 generals, because we saw that Melzergard was able to take on multiple S-class heroes and was extremely formidable in his own right. And then we saw that Grugenshoop, super powerful Esper, was able to allegedly replicate the power of a black hole, but that's not necessarily true, of course. If you want more info on that, please check out my video, Grugenshoop versus Tatsumaki. But aside from that, these guys are crazy powerful. I mean, they are rolling with Boros, the dominator of the universe, so it's likely that he's been around the block multiple times, and he has only recruited like the most powerful dudes from the universe that he has encountered. So Groribas is certainly on that level. But aside from that, it's heavily implied that Groribas is like the second strongest general, because Melzergard was somewhat of the foot soldier of the 3, like he was sent outside to take care of guys on the surface, while Groribas was still inside of the ship, ready to take on any of the guys who were strong enough to make it past Melzergard and actually get onto the ship. And then we saw that Grugenshoop was inside of the actual control room and closest to Boros. So based off of that succession, I think we can assume that Groribas was likely number 2 of the trio. Also, when Groribas dies, it like totally shocks Grugenshoop. It's like, impossible! Groribas was one of our strongest, but he beat him? And then when he tells Boros that Groribas was dead, Boros is like, what? So him just dying is a utter shock to them based off of how friggin' incredibly powerful he was. Also, Groribas himself says it's too bad that he can't show all of his moves because his opponents always die first. So that also shows that no one has really ever challenged Groribas, similar to how no one has ever really challenged Boros, simply because of how friggin' overpowered they are. Alright, so now that we've established that Groribas was in fact very powerful, let's go into what he was actually capable of, because believe it or not, we have some information on it. So the one thing that Groribas actually reveals to us in the anime is that he has acid breath, and we never see it on display, so we can't really think too much of it, but we have to remember that he is a dragon, so anything that he is capable of is likely to be deadly, including his acid breath, because the other instance that we have seen of acid in the series is from Deep Sea King when he spits on Genos, and just his acid like wrecked Genos, like it almost melted him completely. And like I stated before, Deep Sea King was a demon, so if we're going up to dragon level acid, it's very likely that if Groribas sprayed his acid on Genos, he would just straight up disintegrate him completely. So aside from that, Groribas actually reveals more things that he is capable of, and this is coming from the bonus of chapter 32 at the very end. So Apparently, Groribas is capable of 20 moves, and the Acid Breath is actually one of the newer ones that he is capable of. So we don't find out what all 20 of these moves are, unfortunately, because, you know, I'd love to talk about them all in detail, but we only get 4. So the first one is Double Bite, then we get Purgatory Thorn Grip, then we get Sky Strangle Sunder, and Screwtail Thrust. So the Double Bite, this one's pretty self-explanatory. He likely just chomps you with his 2 mouth hands that he has, and I'm sure that this can easily go through a hero, just like how we Americans go through hamburgers. So the Purgatory Thorn Grip is a little harder to decipher because he only really has thorns on his shoulder and neck area, so does this mean that he can produce more thorns from his body, maybe on his arms, and he can grip you up with that? I don't want to think that he's talking about his mouth hands here, because that would be a little redundant considering that he already has the Double Bite. But, you know, regardless, he thorns you and grips you and puts you in purgatory, so that's pretty deadly. Then he has the Sky Strangle Sunder. So maybe he like lifts you up in the air by your neck and then rips you apart, because that's what Sunder means, like to split apart. Or maybe he like throws you up in the air and then strangles you a little bit, then rips you apart at the throat, possibly? And then finally, the Screwtail Thrust. So this one's a little easier to decipher because we actually get a back shot of Groribas and we see that he does have a tail with like a sharp edge to it. So he's probably just shooting you with this tail in a screw thrust motion, probably like a scorpion or something like this. And this for sure would wreck you. So that's pretty much it for Groribas. And overall, I think he's a good monster. And I think he has a cool design too. Like, he reminds me of like a super buff Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. And I think if he were to come down to the surface and like help out Melzergar take on the S-Class heroes, I'd go as far as saying that like he'd probably kill 1 or 2 of them. I mean, based off of the acid comparison that I made with him and Deep Seeking, I think he could probably melt like Puri Puri Prisoner or Tank Top Master. And as for like his more accurate disaster level, I think maybe he would be like a mid-dragon possibly. I mean, we don't know his durability and his speed, of course, but just based off of him being a general of Boros and him likely to be second of the 3 generals, you know, maybe he's a mid-dragon. But let me know what you think about Groribas in the comments. Do you think he was cool? Do you think he would have wrecked the S-Class heroes? I mean, not all of them, but, you know, some of them at least. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It starts at $2 and it gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.